In this video, we will consider our conclusions from assessing published websites in relation to the theories from Krug, Nelson and Pernice. So what do Nelson and Pernice tell us? When developing a website, the natural instinct is to try and get as much information over as possible. However, this bombardment of information can have a variety of effects. It could be confusing, or just make it difficult to find the information required. When designing your web page, while considering the purpose of the website is important, be it to sell widgets or promote an event, it is more important or equally important to consider the experience of the customer at meeting their needs. If they find visiting your website enjoyable or memorable, they will return again, or even recommend it to friends. And as a result, your site is more successful with more visitors. So how do we design our website page? One technique is that of a wire diagram. It enables us to concentrate on the design of the page without considering the content. And this format will enable me to explain the theory clearly and concisely. So you may want to consider developing a wire diagram for your website you are developing as part of Assessment Component 3. We first start with a blank page. Now, Nelson and Pernice stated that people expect the navigation to look like navigation. So think back to your websites. Where was the navigation and how did it look? For a lot of websites, they use buttons or boxes which are located towards the top of the page or down the left-hand side of the page. So we would add this to our wire diagram. The precise names and the amount of boxes can be added later, but it will support the navigation that we developed last week. A second thing to consider is the search facility. Again, this is often in the top right-hand corner, and so this is where people naturally expect it to be. Some sites may also include a shopping basket, contact information, or links to identify store locations in this area. These links are usually in a smaller font so as to not distract from the main navigation, with clear backgrounds makes them easy to locate. The same format is used for the utility information at the bottom of the page. Krug explains the term of persistent navigation or global navigation, which applies to having the navigation in the same place on every page. This consistency of layout provides the important reassurance that you are still on the same site. The only exception to this is the home page, which we'll be considering later in the course, and other forms such as payment information, where you may want people to complete all of that before moving on. In the top left corner of the page is often a company logo that tells you what site you are on. Krug recommends that this contains a link so that when it's clicked on, it takes you to the site home page. Consider the sites you looked at. Did they incorporate this feature? Moving on to the unique content. Again, consistency is important. So at this stage, I may just add boxes to identify what content I need to add and develop the content at a later date. So I might end up with a diagram as this. But there's not just one format, so it might be something different. Say a diagram like this. You may also consider the use of colour and the colour scheme of your site. Decide to design your logo and your navigation bars. The wire diagram can be developed and built to enable you to specify all these aspects of your design. But how do you know whether you've got it correct? Krug identifies that your page layout should enable you to answer all of these questions. And a copy of this slide is available in the slide pack handout. Remember, your page layout and design can change how people look at your website. Compare these two pages. They actually contain the same information, but as you can see from the eye tracking spots, they are being read very differently. In designing your page layout, consider how you want your page to be reviewed. In the next activity, you'll draw up proposals for your website page layout.